Welcome, everyone. I'm Professor Joanne Ordilli from the Rutgers Business School, and this is Tech for Business. In this video, I will show you how to install Tableau Desktop with the ability to connect to MySQL Server, pull data from MySQL Server, and then visualize that data. This video is for Windows. If you have a Mac, check out the description to this video for an alternate video for Macs. We will proceed in 5 steps. First, we will install the Open Database Connectivity, that is the ODBC driver. This driver enables Tableau to communicate with MySQL Server. Next, we'll install Tableau. Then we'll create an account to give Tableau access to MySQL Server. We will connect Tableau to MySQL Server and do a test visualization. To install the ODBC driver, let's bring up a browser and search for ODBC driver for MySQL. When we do that, we see that there's the MySQL Developer Zone, which has a download for it. And as long as you're at dev.mysql.com, you're in good shape. When you get to the driver part, there are 2 versions of the driver. The 8.0.37 version is for 32-bit hardware architectures. Most people no longer have 32-bit architectures. Most people have 64-bit architectures, and so 9.0.0 is the correct driver. It's the correct driver even if you installed MySQL Server 8.0 something. So I have a 64-bit machine. I am going to install 9.0.0. If you're not sure if you have a 64 or a 32-bit machine, you can go to Settings and under System, at the bottom is About. If you bring that up under System type, it will tell you what kind of system you have. And you can see mine's a 64-bit. Okay, so I'm going to do my download. I'm not going to create an Oracle account. I'm just going to go straight to the download. The download's complete. I'm going to run the download. When I do that, I say next to start the installer. I accept the terms of the license agreement. I'm going to pick the typical setup. And now it says it's ready. Let's install. When you install, you may get a pop-up about security. Just click yes. Okay, the installer has finished. So I'll click finish. So that was step 1. Step 2 is to install Tableau. So I have a couple comments to share with you about that on the next slide. When you're running Tableau, you need a license. If you're a teacher, you can get a free license for teachers from this link. If you're a student, there's a link for you as well. If you're neither a teacher or a student, you can get a 14-day free trial at this link, and you can also download the software there. Since my license came with this link for downloading the software, I'm going to use that to download Tableau. Let's do that now. So I'm just going to put that link here. And one thing to notice is that here on Chrome, the download starts automatically. Right? So we are now downloading Tableau Desktop. Depending on your browser and your previous interactions with Tableau, this may or may not happen. Let's take a look at a different browser. This is Firefox. I'm not logged into a Tableau account on Firefox. I use just the download URL. And here I have a form for starting my free 14-day trial. Alternatively, if I received a license as a student or a faculty member, I could sign in with an account if I've already created one. In any case, if you download the 14-day trial, you can still put a license into it and make it a licensed product. So it's looking pretty good here. It says it's done, so we can start the process of installing Tableau Desktop. Okay, I have read and accept the terms of the license agreement. You can decide to turn off product usage data and click install. If you get a pop-up that asks for permission, say yes. Tableau has finished its installation, and now we're looking at Tableau Desktop. Since I have previously installed Tableau and I didn't want to risk losing my license, Tableau found my previously installed license and automatically activated it. In your case, if you've never installed Tableau before, you are likely to see a screen like this. This screen says, hey, if you have a product key for a license, click Activate with a product key, enter your product key, and then you will see what I'm seeing, the Tableau desktop, and it will have a license. If, on the other hand, you're waiting for your product key, you could start your 14-day trial now, and then later, when you get your product key, come here under Help, come down to Manage Product Keys, click on that, and then add and activate your product key. Before we connect to MySQL Server, however, we need to make an account on MySQL Server. So I will pause the desktop, bring up MySQL Workbench. If you followed the instructions in my video on installing MySQL Server and MySQL Workbench, you will have a gray square for logging in to root on your MySQL Server on your local machine. So we're going to click on that. As you know, the root account has enormous privileges. It can see all the databases here that are in the system. It can manipulate and change anything. And so what we want to do is limit Tableau to being able to read data that we might want to visualize. And this is called the principle of least privilege. What we will do here is create an account for Tableau that has just those privileges. If we look under database, under server, we'll find users and privileges. We'll click on that. We see our root user here and some other users. What we want to do here is we want to add an account. So we're going to click the Add an Account button. And the new login name will be Tableau or whatever you'd like. We're going to use standard authentication, and we're going to limit this account to being able to log in over from the local host, that is from the laptop to itself. This is reasonably secure. Next, what we'll do is give this account a password. And once we've done those things, we want to hit the apply button in the lower right-hand corner to create the account. However, that's not enough. We need to also give this account permission to read the databases we might want it to read. So all the way out here under schema privileges, we're going to say, well, it'd be nice to visualize data in the Sequila database and maybe in the world database. So we're going to add an entry. We're going to pick a selected schema. That is the Sequila schema, which is a synonym in this sense for the Sequila database in MySQL Workbench. And then after we add the Sequila database, you'll see here it has no privileges, so we still could not access it from the Tableau account. What we want is the select privilege. That allows us to read the tables and get the data. So we'll say apply. And then we'll do the same thing for the world database. We'll pick the world database from the dropdown, add it, and then give it the select privilege. Okay, so now we have our account all set up. If you'd like to check the account, you can go here and say plus next to MySQL connections. And we can call this the Tableau box. And we're going to give it the Tableau login name. We can store the password in the vault. And then we can say OK and click to log in. And so here's the Tableau account. You can see it only sees the Sequila and world databases, the SYS database that appeared previously for the root account here does not appear for the Tableau account. So we're done creating our account. And now if we go back to Tableau, now what we'd like to do is make sure that Tableau and MySQL Server can connect to each other, that we can pull data and visualize it. So we're going to do an example. In order to connect to MySQL Server, I click MySQL under Connect. Most of this is filled out already for me. These are the right things if you're trying to visualize something from the Sequila database, and all I have to add here is my password that I created just a moment ago. When I connect to my SQL Server and I say I want to visualize the Sequila database, I get this list of all the tables in the Sequila database, and I'm interested in visualizing the number and total amount of payments that I've received. So I'm going to drag that over here. So we have a rather simple data model. I am just going to work with the payment table. After I put that in my data model, I can go to sheet 1 here. Sheet 1 then has all the attributes that exist in the payment table for me. And what I'd like to visualize is for the payment dates, I would like to visualize the amount of the payments. So we got started, kind of looks funky right now. Looking more closely, I don't really just want to visualize each year. I'd like to visualize each month. So I'm going to put month here. So now I have something that goes February to August. But I know that there are multiple years here. So I'm checking again. It says month, but what I really want is month and year. So I'm going to put month and year. When I put month and year, you see that I visualize months in 2005 and also in 2006. So I'm pretty happy about that. Also notice that I pulled amount over here into rows, but Tableau knew that I wanted to sum the amounts for each month. Okay, this still looks pretty funky, so I'm going to change from automatic graphing to bar chart. It looks a little better. Now I think I would like the bars to be different colors, and so I would like to color the bar according to the month. So I'm going to take the date again and put it in color. Okay, but if you look here, it's doing the year. I don't want the year. I really want the month and the year. And so when I change it like that, I get different colors, but they're all shades of blue. So coming back here again, I want, instead of a continuous scale for color, I want a discrete scale. And this gives me different colors. If I don't like these colors, I can come up here to the key and I can say edit colors to look at different color palettes. So this completes our demonstration of visualizing data from MySQL Server into Tableau. We've successfully installed the ODBC connector and Tableau and connected it to MySQL Server. I just have one more thing I want to mention to you. If you're sitting there saying, but MySQL Workbench doesn't have the SQL database for me or the world database, if that's so, then you did not install them when you installed MySQL Server. So the way to fix that is to go to Settings, Apps, Installed Apps on your Windows system. Find the MySQL installer in the installed apps, and then in the menu, choose Modify. Once the installer comes up, choose Add and move the top package under Samples and Examples to Products to be installed. Then complete the installation and you'll have these two databases. If this video was helpful to you, please like it to help others find it more easily and consider subscribing. There are more videos coming. Next one is a tour of MySQL Workbench. Thanks for joining me and see you next time.